Okay. I hate memes. Is that legit? Confirmed? Okay. I hate memes. Alright, so before I start, just want to give a quick rundown of the category. This is 80% no wrong warp. So this is basically the classic 80% run of Dark Souls. There was about a year and a half ago, there was a wrong warp discovered without the use of Alt F4, using the purple coward crystal that allows you to skip into the kiln. And because of that, this category was chopped off. So we'll be getting into the kiln without the use of wrong warping by gathering all the Lord Souls from all the Lord Soul bosses. That's just the main difference. So I just wanted to, give that distinction before I started. Okay. Allie, are you ready? Alright. Countdown on go. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so the first thing we start is Thief with black fire bombs, because Thief gets a free master key, and we definitely want a master key because it'll save us quite a bit of time on maneuvering through the world. But because the Thief starts with the master key for free, we also get to choose black fire bombs as our gift. And getting to start with black fire bombs at the very beginning saves quite a bit of time. So that's the main reason that we start Thief. And the first big time save that you'll see is right here on the first boss. So we run to this spot here. 1, 2, 3, dodge. 1, 2, and that's the first boss. And doing that to kill him saves a good chunk of time in the asylum, and it's also very consistent. So we're gonna pick up a shield. Run past. And this is a trick that is IGT strat. This actually doesn't save any time, RTA, but it's a pretty cool trick. What the game handles breakable objects in a weird way. If you quit out near them, they just break. So you just quit out near the wall and you break the wall going into Oscar without having to trigger the boulder. And because of a new glitch that was recently discovered, we also don't need the souls from Asylum Demon, so we can just Dark Sign out. And normally we would quit out on this door, which it's an IGT strat, but there's no reason to do it for a marathon, so we're just gonna keep going. And if you're familiar with the No Wrong Warp runs or the remaster runs of this game, we're not going to be going into Undead Burg at all. We're just going to immediately go down into Valley of Drakes to pick up some items. So we're going to pop this humanity just to give us a little extra item discovery. It's not going to matter for this marathon run because I have a cheat running in the background, but the main weapon that we want for the run is going to be a Black Knight Halberd, which only has a 20% chance of dropping normally, but with one humanity it adds about 6%. But for the sake of a marathon, we have Gadget Lamage, which is a program that helps just drop the weapon, so we can just do the run without having to worry about it dropping. And we pick up the S-Dock there for a glitch that we're going to be doing later called Move Swap. And proceed into the valley and pick up a soul item up here, which we'll need for later. And you can get really close to this guy and he won't even like wake up at all. So we can just safely pick up the item and keep running. And now here's another trick that we're going to do up ahead that It's going to make up for the souls that we lost from Asylum Demon by dark signing out after Oscar. Which will not save RTA time, but this is an IGT strat. This is called a Drake Suicide Quit Out. So if you quit out past these two Drakes on the bridge, just past them, when you reload, there's about a 50-50 chance that they'll just fly off to their death, which will give us 1,000 souls, and that's all we need. Yep, and there he goes. Just a free 1,000 souls, and we're good to go. And that strat's been known about for a while, but it hasn't really been useful until we found a glitch recently that I'll show off soon, called prompt swapping, which allows us to save just a little bit of time in the early game. And we pick up most important item of the run, Red Tier Stone Ring. And we didn't die to the Drakes, so that's good. Alright, we're gonna do another trick up here, which saves a little bit of time IGT, about 8 seconds or so IGT. It's called a upwarp. So we're gonna send the elevator up, walk out, drop down and quit out. And when we reload, we'll actually be at the top of the elevator. Just like that. And normally you would heal there as well, so you do 2 quit outs. But since I'm gonna be taking this bonfire, just because dying here would be pretty unfortunate. So we're just gonna sit there. It doesn't lose a whole lot of time. And then we're gonna fight this bad boy, try to get him to fall off to his death. Yeah, it's not very good RNG, but it's okay. And there he goes. Alright, so we didn't get a halberd, but our program running in the background is going to drop it for us, so we'll be good to go. Alright, so we picked up an S-Stock earlier in New Londo Ruins for move swap, but we also need a bow, which we will pick up here. So we lose a little bit of time starting Thief and not Hunter, because we don't get a bow in the Asylum, but the amount of time we save overall makes it worth it. And then we're going to come up to this lizard over here, and we're going to punch it for 1 damage, and firebomb for 86. And you do that because it has literally 87 HP, and you need the punch to kill it. So we're going to equip our bow, so we can shoot the hollow for a skip that we're going to do. And move on to Blacksmith Andre. Just gonna run past this guy. He pretty much never kills you, although sometimes he does. And then we're gonna do the prompt swap glitch up here. So first I'm gonna buy Smith Box and a War Pick, and pressing the mouse button and the confirm button on the controller at the same time will swap the prompts from the arrows to the shards. So I was able to buy 99 Titanite shards, even though I didn't have enough to buy a single Titanite shard there. And we use those to upgrade our War Pick to +5. And we're going to use this War Pick for only 1 boss. Just so we can get, before we get the stats to actually be able to wield the Black Knight Halberd. We're going to shoot this guy to aggro him. And this is Sin's Gate Skip. So this works by reposting this hollow and then hitting a death cam trigger. And then we enter this death cam state, which is like the cinematic view that the game gives you when you're falling to your death. And while you're in this state, the game doesn't load or deload any new assets. And one of those assets is, if I can get through the doorway, all right. is Sin's Gate. So we can just walk right through the gate without having to kill, or without having to ring the bells of awakening. Just quit out to reset the death cam. Reload, and we're in Sin's already. This part of the run is actually really consistent. These cycles are the same every time, as long as you quit out in the same spot. So this is actually, even though for a casual playthrough, this place can be hell, this is like the comfiest part of a speedrun, because it all just works the same way every time. The enemies can do slightly different things, but there's only so many things that they'll do. It's pretty easy to learn. Just wait for the boulder, keep going. And we're gonna do a quit out up here because there's a boulder coming down that'll hit us. We quit out in a certain spot to get certain cycles on the reload, but yeah, you just need to quit out there or the boulder's gonna come down and kill us. We're going to intentionally take damage here to set up Red Tier Stone Ring for the upcoming boss, Iron Golem. Knock this bad boy out of the way. And we are done with the lower part of Sin's Fortress. Alright, so now I've got my gear set up to move swap. And move swap is one of the many ways that this game abuses action queuing. So the bow is normally the only weapon that you can two-hand in your offhand in the game. So we queue up two-handing the bow with an action. It's going to be a jump roll right here. And while queuing it up, we swap the war pick out. And now we have the war pick two-handed in our offhand. But because the game doesn't actually have a way to handle moveset for it being in your offhand, it just gives us the moveset of the S-Stock for the running attacks, the rolling attacks, and plunges. And that allows us to do double hits on our running attacks, which can do a whole lot of damage. And this Iron Golem fight's pretty scripted. So it's going to be 2 hits, R2, R2. R1, blue swap, swap to grass press shield, and that's Iron Golem. Yeah, that is I forgot to turn off the FFZ beep, so anytime someone says my name in Fleetfest's chat, it's going to beep on my end. Yeah, sorry, but I can stop for a second to disable it if you want me to, or I can just keep going. Yeah, I forgot that would happen. All right, so at this bonfire, we're gonna level up. It's fine. Okay. Cool. All right. So we're gonna dupe Iron Golem's soul here using action queuing, similar thing to what we do to move swap. And normally if I was doing PB attempts, we would be doing something called No Heal Emeraldo, which allows us to set up Red Tier Stone Ring for the boss without having to set it up on an enemy. But since this is a marathon, we're going to take the safe way and just heal here, because you can just die on this ladder specifically. Like, everything in this whole area is just trying to shoot you in the back the entire time, so not healing is pretty scary, but it does save about 8 seconds, so it is quite fast, but it's just not worth it, especially because I'm going to be taking the bonfire before ONS anyways, which will negate the benefits. So we use our weapon to knock these guys out of the way if they try to block us. Yeah, I think it's only if you say exactly Regal. That's the only thing that's going to trigger it. It's just my FFC setting. All right, so this is like a scary part of the run during PB attempts, but if you heal, it's really comfy, honestly. Like this part's really scary if you don't heal. They were really nice though. You don't have to turn your camera around like this. You can use audio cues to dodge them, but when I do it without healing, I just want to be extra safe. So I always look back there. But it is definitely not required. In fact, a lot of runners just don't do it because they don't like it. Yeah. Those Silver Knight, you just bait him off the edge usually. It just falls right off. Yeah, we're gonna take this bonfire because this ONS is a pretty random and annoying boss to fight. Go ahead and use some souls to level up though, just in case we lose them. This guy gives a pretty consistent RTSR setup. And this is a really easy jump, but I missed it. So. That jump right there actually skips like a decent part of going through, and it's like super easy to do. So this is ONS, and hopefully this goes well. Nice. That was a pretty good fight. It's slightly faster, to answer your question, Fino, to move swap on the stairs, because when you're mid-roll speed, you move slower. So even though it's riskier, if you just are good at move swap, you're going to save a little bit of time by doing it on the stairs there. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. It also makes it easier to dodge the sentinels as you're running by if you have fast roll. So if you're not consistent at move swap, then yeah, you can do it on the before you drop down. All right, so we used to not level up here, but this category has been rerouted, so we actually level up here now. And we used to do Sif right after ONS, but now we do the whole Isolith segment before that. Because that allows us to have more stats for Sif. Doesn't save a whole lot of time, but it makes these segments a little comfier. And this is actually one of my favorite segments to do in practice because it's got some cool movement. There's a trick we're gonna do up ahead called a plunge, a fall damage cancel plunge, which will get us through Blighttown a little faster. We also have to do a drop down to kill the blow dart sniper to get some moss, which will help us set up RTSR for the whole segment and keep it. Because if we don't have it, then poison will be ticking on us the entire time. So you can't really keep RTSR for the whole segment unless you take the bonfire. And that's kind of slow. So we're going to drop down, toggle escape, target this guy, throw a bomb, drop down, toggle escape again, jump, toggle escape again, roll, and plunge. And that's it. I love doing that in practice because it's such a fun little like sequence of movement. Alright, so we're gonna heal the poison up ahead when we have low RTSR setup. And this will help set us up for the rest of the segment. Alright, so Quelaag is a pretty easy boss as long as you don't miss staggers. The BKH, without move swap, is capable of just staggering her body, and it does quite a bit of damage. But if you stand in the wrong spot, it does not work. Ah, man, I almost got the 3-shot. Almost got the 3-shot. I actually messed it up. But yeah, the 3-shot doesn't save that much time, but it's pretty cool. You get 2 counterattacks on the end as she tries to jump away. Alright, so we heal once, and then we're going to set up for a really cool skip called Fire Sage Elevator Clip. And it's really easy to do. Anyone can probably learn this. You just stand this spot right here in general, and you quit out a bunch. You just quit out over and over until you clip through. Because of the way the game loads the zones, this elevator, you can see it. It actually loads in slightly after my character. It does not work in the remaster, no. They fixed the way that the zones load. Oh, I got the double shot on... Yeah, so I'm only going to hit him 3 times and he's going to die. Nice. That's really rare to get, and it saves a few seconds though. Now, normally I wouldn't be taking this bonfire, but I'm just going to take it for safety here. This kind of actually negates getting the moss, but that part is just so cool that I wanted to show it off. Yeah, sometimes when you do the elevator clip, you'll hit that branch above him and you'll just die. Which is kind of annoying, but it doesn't happen super often. Yeah, very peachy. So this is Centipede and everything... Oh, nice, I did not mean to do that. If everything goes well, this should be easy. If everything goes well, this could be awful though. So you roll over that first bit of lava, and then you walk, take 2 ticks, and roll. Alright. He didn't jump, which is annoying, but... Okay, so this is bad. Yeah, this is like the worst thing that can happen. Yeah. Okay. So that was really bad, and that's exactly what you'd never want to happen in a run. But it's okay, we didn't die. Yeah, so there's an AI manip that you can do on him to get him to jump every time, but sometimes he just doesn't stand in the right spot, and then the AI manip doesn't really work because he's farther back in the arena than normal. And you're much more risk of him jumping away in that scenario, which is exactly what happened. But that's okay. Didn't die, that's the most important thing. So this is actually the scariest part of the run for a marathon. It's not super difficult, but just a very small mistake or bad luck from Beta Chaos can just end the run. Or not really end the run, but it'll lose us quite a bit of time. Yeah, Yeah, I know, fool. That broke the first rule of Centipede. Don't get a jump back. Yeah, hopefully everything will go well, but this is like the main reason that you want a high estimate for this particular run is because if things go bad on this boss, you just lose so much time. Thanks for the reminder, Ash. The worst thing that could happen is me missing the second bomb throw here. Because we're going to do a cool trick called Toki Bombs to make this boss basically, you know, trivial compared to fighting it normally. But if I miss the second bomb, like missing the first bomb is fine, but missing the second bomb is pretty awful. But even if I don't miss the bombs, you can still die in the tunnel going into to kill the bug because of Firestorm, which is an attack that the boss can do. Hopefully everything goes well. So we're just gonna take it real slow. Normally in like PB attempts, I would have already been throwing the bombs, but alright, that should be good. Okay, we got through it. See, it's not hard, but one mistake or bad luck can just make it really, really bad. Yes, I didn't die to Medicus. Alright, so now we're going to the Sif segment, and this is one of the advantages of the reroute that we did. I can get 28 endurance for this segment. Previously, we only had 16 endurance for this segment, and we only had 25 strength as well. So the strength doesn't help that much, but it can save a hit on Sif if you don't do him with move swap. But since we have 28 endurance, we're gonna fight him with move swap. But the BKH is not the best weapon to fight Sif with move swap, so it can be pretty tricky. I'm actually the only one that does it right now. It's pretty optional, because you can just fight them with normal R1s, and it's totally fine. But you do get slightly faster fights with move swap on Sif if you don't miss hits. But missing hits is pretty tough, because the BKH has a really poor hitbox when you're move swapped. Makes it really challenging. But you can get faster fights, and the 28 endurance allows you to fast roll while you move swap. And previously, we wouldn't even have 28 strength, 28 endurance until 4 Kings segment. So we get 28 strength for Izalith and 28 endurance for Sif. We have all those stats early, which makes these segments slightly comfier and a little faster as well. So we're going to quit out of this door because we have a bunch of bushes chasing after us. And this also is an IGT strat because it'll skip the animation of opening the door. Alright, we're going to do a small little skip up here called Ruin Skip. It's probably my least favorite skip in the whole game because it's super annoying and it doesn't save that much time, but when you don't get it, you feel awful. And we got it, okay. So we're picking up the stone armor for later on in the run. We'll use this for an RTSR setup on the next segment, as well as for fighting Nito at the end of the run. Yeah. Every time I'd go to do that skip, I'm just worried I'll miss it. Which it doesn't lose you that much time, but it does lose you like 8 seconds. And, you know, every second matters in PB attempts. So, alright. So we're gonna go here and we're gonna index the armor on the door, and this allows us to equip the armor quickly later on, because when we go to equip on our armor slots, it'll be the first thing that comes up later. So that just saves us a little bit of time on menuing. The backup is kind of like just as annoying, honestly. It's nice that that there's 2 ways to do it, though. So I already missed a hit. That's okay. Sif likes to jump. I missed several hits so far. Right. So we just dark sign quickly here, and we can keep our souls. And we pick up Hornet Ring for Gwen later on. So this is a really cool RTSR setup that I found that saves a little bit of time over the normal stone armor setup, which is also a really cool setup. But this one's a little trickier. You can definitely die to it. The stone armor setup is a lot comfier, though. Yeah, that should work. Yeah, that saves about 4 or 5 seconds over the normal RTSR setup, but it's a lot more annoying to do. So this is going to be the hardest fight in the whole run. 4 kings. So for pretty much any route that kills 4 kings, you want to be able to kill them with as few kings as possible, because you can do extra damage on the kings as they die. We call it overkill damage. Well, first of all, I'm going to do a skip here called Sill Skip. Alright, we got it. This will take us out of bounds so we can fall in near to the kings, and it skips the whole, like, getting this, opening the seal and everything. So we just go through with the water still up. But, so this route can only get 2 kings, which is fine, but getting 2 kings is very tight. The BKH, like I was saying earlier, is a really poor hitbox when you're move swapped on it, and you cannot miss a single hit. So this is a very, very challenging fight for getting 2 kings. So hopefully we won't miss a hit. It's a little easier to land hits on this boss than Sif, though, so hopefully it goes well. Nice, alright. First king was good. So now we just gotta get the second king. Yeah, you do that little combo there to get enough damage for 2 kings. Okay, the king's acting kind of weird. Oh my god. Alright, well, I missed a hit, so 3 kings, yes. Yeah, the king acted a little strange there, but that's okay. So, like, in a run, this is pretty bad. It's fine for a marathon, you know. It only loses about 30 seconds, but that's quite a bit during PB attempts. So we might get hit by this magic that's still in the arena. So we're gonna actually go right up underneath Kath. So it hopefully hits him in the face. No, it didn't even happen. Yeah, you can get hit by that magic while you're talking to Kath and warping away. Shout out to Capitan. Okay, so we haven't died yet. I think I'm gonna go for a skip. That only saves about 15 seconds. in-game time. Well, it's probably about 18 overall. But if I die, it loses a whole lot of time. But it's really cool. So the fact that I haven't died to it, or I haven't died to anything yet, I'm just gonna go for it. Yeah, this is a really consistent segment. It just has some pretty tricky parkour skips in it that you can lose quite a bit of time to. Or these boars, they chase you down. But there's not really any RNG to this segment, which is nice. It's just, you can lose time to making mistakes yourself. Also, these guys can be... I guess there's some RNG to these dudes. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, I'm gonna go around to the side because I got hit by that guy. That room right there is kind of scary. Alright, so this is Duke Skip. This is a very well-known skip and one of the oldest in the game. So hopefully we won't mess it up. First try, that's good. That was kind of a weird roll, but it worked. Alright, so we're gonna do a ladder skip here. Which doesn't save a whole lot of time, but it is a little faster than taking the ladder. The main thing is it will set up our health for the slip quit out. And I'm not going to do the slip quit out twice if I fail it the first time. So we'll get one crack at it. And if I die, I have to run all the way back, which is going to lose quite a bit of time. So we'll see. Minos taught you about Duke Skip. I'm on the wrong elevator. Yeah. You can try on the other elevator, but it's a little bit harder. I'll say that. You can try though. All right, so here's the slope quit out. This is a pretty sketchy skip. Yeah. Oh well, I jumped a little too early. But basically, you're trying to land on that crystal below, and if you have to jump in just the right spot to where you get a slope death, and you quit out. And you reload, and you're right there, and it saves, along with the ladder skip that you do earlier to set up your health, it'll save about 18 seconds. Yeah, Kata went for it twice. Which, I don't blame him, in a way, because... Like, me and him are probably the only two that have gotten, like, pretty good at it because we practiced it a lot. And you feel like you can do it every time. And then you mess it up and it's like, oh, it's this enormous time loss. But, like, say I barely messed it up there. Like, I just jumped, like, a little too late. Or a little too early. Yeah, I'm not going to go for it twice. I wanted to go for it, but going for it twice is, like, kind of sketch. So we have to Duke Skip and all this stuff all over again. Or... Wow. Okay. That's, that's really rare. Getting chased down by the board. So I just lost, like, 180,000 souls as well. That's pretty unfortunate. Yeah, that's pretty rare that happens. Honestly, it's not that bad, except for the fact that I just lost 180,000 souls, which I can get back. I just have to dupe quite a bit. Yeah, I did lose a record run to that boar once, but it wasn't because of getting chased down. It's because I accidentally just rolled a at the wrong time, and then I got chased down. Yeah, these boars, you shouldn't be dying to them, but they can just run you down randomly sometimes, which is very, very annoying. I don't have to pick those up because it's 0 souls. Okay. So we'll just do this whole thing all over again. I'll at least get some time to dupe on these elevators again to get back the souls that I lost. Yeah, that actually is a good file name because got memed pretty hard by the boar there. 1% meme. So that's how you usually want to run through that area. In the middle part, and just go through quick enough to where you don't have to you won't get hit by that channeler. Hopefully we can do this first try again. That was actually really close to not working, but we got it. Yeah, Chandler Bing. Yeah, I actually was like, up until recently, really not that great at Duke skipping. Like, I'd miss it, like, way more than I should. But I've gotten much better at it. That's twice in a row for this run. So this segment should be pretty simple without the slip quit out. Now I'm gonna do the peach drop up here. There's a drop right there called Manly Drop, which isn't super hard, but there's just a chance I might mess it up, so we're gonna take the safe drop. And we're gonna drop down here and kill at least 2 lizards, so we can upgrade for the next segment. So here, this is a tricky part because we don't want to get clams in this fight, but we also don't want to quit out because that's slow. So we're gonna do some specific pathing here along this crystal. I'm gonna regen stamina, switch to my bow, or maybe not switch to my bow. I'll just switch to it in the fight. Yeah, just sprint into them right here, and we shouldn't get any clams. Shoot the crystal, move swap, do the 4 kings combo, and then another move swap, and Synth is dead. Oh, I didn't need to pop that. Forgot, I don't want to pop that because I need to dupe some souls, but that's okay. I'll just dupe, yeah, I still have most souls. So just dupe this. Yeah, I gotta do a good amount of dupes here to get to the normal level ups that we normally do, because we lost so many souls to that boar. So this is gonna be a little slow, but it's okay. Yeah, like I was saying, like that segment is so consistent. Other than like, I guess the very beginning, you have those hollows, and sometimes the boars can meme you. Almost always, hardly anything goes wrong. Alright, so we want 24 and +4. And we've got a fire link for the last, or the penultimate segment of the run. Going to kill Nito. This can be a pretty scary segment, especially on PB attempts. Because on PB attempts, I'll often be going for RTSR Nito fight, which is very random and spooky. Not spooky, just more because it's, you know, you could die, not just because it's a bunch of skeletons. It's like very random fight, but it does save about 13 seconds over like optimal non-RTSR Nito fight. So if you're going for like really good times, you want to be doing it, but you'll just lose runs to it, which is really annoying. Alright, so we're gonna quit out on this lever because there are a bunch of skeletons behind us. And then we're gonna do another fall damage cancel plunge up ahead. This one's really cool. And hopefully we won't get bothered by these enemies right here. Alright, they're nice. These bone wheels can just end your run too. Alright, they were nice as well. And I only got 2. Yeah, you can just get obliterated by those bone wheels there. So this boss is not scary at all unless you miss your hits. Shout out to IR Fool. It's Pinwheel. I forgot to. So normally we open up our start menu there to skip the Rite of Kindling dialogue, but I forgot to do that. All right. So this I guess I'm doing Japanese mapping. This area is like, you know, kind of scary if you're going through the game for the first time, but speedrunners know how to get through it really quickly. There's a fog gate skip I can do here, but I'm not going to do it because it's not super fast, although it's cool. But yeah, you can just die to it and lose a lot of time. So we're going to take it safe. There's a boost jump right here. And we're through Tomb of the Giants, at least the first part. I am going to heal, just for safety. Without glitches, I believe that there's 8 different bosses that you can fight after Asylum Demon without glitches. With glitches, there's a lot more. Alright, so we're gonna do another fall damage cancel plunge into the boss fight here. Normally, I'd be doing this plunge at really low health, so if you fail it, you just die. But it's not even a risk to go for it here. So yeah, when you're doing this in RTSR range, these skeletons make the fight extremely scary, because they're just wailing on you. Like, if you're doing it with RTSR, you want to, like, kill the skeletons first thing, and then try to kill Nito before they wake up and get to you to kill you. Because they'll kill you real fast in RTSR range, even with all this armor on. But you have just enough time to kill them. Well, not always. Sometimes you don't have enough time. That's why it's kind of random. But yeah, that's Nito. He's really easy when you just put on a bunch of stone armor. Yeah, so do we have an ending choice? This is the end of the run. Well, y'all gotta decide quick. I personally would vote for Dark Lord 2. What are you concerning at, Captain? The Dark Lord ending lets me do another trick. Okay, okay, Captain. Alright. It looks like Dark Lord ending. Alright, I'm gonna do the Dark Lord ending unless there's a million people that just say otherwise. Because that lets me do another trick. So. Regal, by the way. So these guys can't hit you because they suck. I'm gonna roll so they don't hit you from behind. Parry. Post. Circle to his back. R1. Block. Parry the follow-up. Riposte. We're gonna quit out as he dies. And reload. And we'll instantly get the final cutscene. Or we won't. We'll have to walk out. Time. I love it when that happens. Alright. That was a decent run, other than Crystal Caves, Duke's Archives.
We are here to serve
I only died on that one segment. I died twice there. Yeah. Alright, well thanks for watching, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope I explained everything well.
Our Lord returns.
The water drips are so funny. Okay. Am I good to get off now, Allie? Oh, let's check the IGT. 48, 44. That's with like 2 really time lost deaths on Duke's Archives, so that's okay. Like I probably lost like 5 minutes in Duke's Archives from dying. But yeah, so I'm okay with that. All right. Well, that's all for me, guys. Thanks.